This is called an absolute value inequality. Whenever you see an absolute value and an inequality symbol, you're going to have a very confusing problem on your hands. Okay, but if you remember this little phrase, it might help you. It will be also helpful if I had the pen working. This is a phrase that I want you to remember with absolute value inequalities. Greater less than. No misspellings. Greater less than. Now, what that means is if you do a problem and the moment you do what's important with this, if it's a less than symbol, it's going to be the word and if it's a greater than symbol, it's going to be the word or. Now, whenever you solve these, it's very, very, very similar to when you solve absolute value equations. You need to get the absolute value all by itself. Well, good news, it already is. And at this point, we split this into two different inequalities. It's very similar to what we saw before. The left side, whatever's inside the absolute value, keep it that way. But one of the inequalities, you're going to keep the sign and the right side exactly the same. The other inequality, you're going to flip the inequality and take the opposite of the right side. Now, here's the key thing. This was a less than symbol the moment I split it up. Since it was a less than symbol, we are going to use the word and to separate these two. Now, at this stage, what you do is you solve each one individually. Multiply both sides by 4, right? That gets you n is less than or equal to 12. Same thing over here. Multiply both sides by 4. That gives you n is greater than or equal to negative 12. And then the word and lives nicely in between. Now, with an and statement, okay, with inequalities, what you need to do is you need to make sure that whatever you graph both lines and see where the lines or overlap. So what I like to do is I like to make myself a rough draft, and it's not going to be anything fancy. I care about where things overlap. So n's got to be less than or equal to 12. So this is what that would look like. Put a 12 right there. N has got to be greater than or equal to negative 12. So put a negative 12 right there. And it looks like where these guys overlap is they start to overlap right here at negative 12. So fill in a circle there, all the way up until that circle right there where they finish overlapping. And then you have literally everything in between negative 12 and 12. So I need to what I'll do is I'll put 0 in the middle. I'll go by 3 so I can hit my 12s. That is a 4, which is not a 3. So let's keep going. 6, 9, 12, 15, negative 3, negative 6, negative 9, negative 12, negative 15. All right, let's take our negative 12, fill it in because it counts. Let's take our regular 12, fill it in because it counts. And we want everything in between, like that. Okay? And that's how you do an absolute value inequality. Pretty gross, but lots of fun.